Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Air Hauler with me, MUHerd37. So we're going to fly the 747, and I'm going to get into that here in just a minute. But we're going to go ahead and start flying. I'll explain why I'm going so quick. Stupid thing. We're going to be in a DHL livery plane. You set this to 301. Let's see, 301-792. Why is that going backwards? 792. Alright. Let's go ahead and... Oh my goodness. Let's repair this real quick. 50 grand. I'll explain in here in a second. That's kind of... I should have restarted this thing. That wouldn't have happened. With that... Oh, and this I didn't hit. Come on, thing. 301-792. Alright, day, and let's go ahead and move on over to the plane. Alright, everybody, here we are. This thing's starting up. Let's make sure our parking brake is on. I'm not going to start up manually. I don't even have that startup sheet anymore. I ended up throwing that away. I have to print a new one. Let's get our lights on correctly. Beacon and nav. Leave the yaw damper on, trim air, and the window heat. For now. Now explain when we taxi. I'll explain what the heck just happened. Alright. Let's go to FMC. Run through this real quick. I actually just did this a minute ago. PHNL. Move that out of the way. And that's going to be important that I move that back. I just forgot about that. Why will this not take... I don't get it. I always thought that's what he did. Come on, thing. Whatever. We'll just move along then. PHNL. And we're going to Tahiti. I should have mentioned that. NTAA is Tahiti. Alright, we're taking off on runway 8 left. Flight number, we are YouTube Transport 37. Let's activate that, execute. Alright, departing 8 left. And let's see, it is OpusFSX 2, transition DOVRR. Execute. Arrival, ILS. See, it's got XYZ, I don't really know what that means, why there's all those. And our star is IDUT3V. There we go. Alright, using vectors, move that up. Move that up. Move that up. Alright, execute that. Get it set. And let's run through just real quick, and we need to find that runway. Alright, it doesn't have our speeds yet. We're going to have 10 in reserves. Let's, we're going to have to go over and set the fuel and the cargo weight. So let's go on over there. Alright, here we are. We're going to set our cargo weight. I just set the cargo weight actually. You see it's 109.755. That's as close as I can get to 110. So let's take our fuel. It's about as close as we can get. We're going to have to manually take it down. That's the only thing I don't like about the 747 to MD-11. The load manager, you can't just like type anything in or something. Kind of annoying. Can't get exact cargo or fuel. Well, fuel you can, but you gotta... It takes forever because you gotta hold it down. Be nice if you could just type it in or go to the FMC and punch it in. 301792. Send that over. Alright, let's just move on back over to the plane. Alright, as you can see in the fuel, it's in there. So we'll zero fuel weight, cost index 75. We're going to go to... I don't know if we can go to 36,000 or not. Apparently we can. Thrust limit, I'm trying to think, man. I'm just gonna go 5%. Let's go 15%. I don't know if we can take off that slow. We're gonna have to use a lot of flaps, I know that, because I was just taking off a minute ago. We're gonna have to go 20 on the flaps, at least. Kinda worried if we can even get off the freaking ground. Alright, trim is 6. Let's set that real quick. Oh, a little too much. Even if it's a little over, I'm okay with that because... Let's see. Okay, that because last time we took off, it used like almost the entire freaking runway. And now that was a little bit... We didn't do a derated takeoff. Now we've got our speed, so I want to check out that runway. 172. Yeah, see, this is way too fast. Come on, now. Can't have us going 240 and then drop from that 3 miles, 14 miles, go down to 172. See if we can go 190. Invalid entry. Alright, 190. $220. Nope, that's not what I wanted. $230. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's go down here. Yeah, we gotta go to the 2D real quick. I'll test the TCAS. Gotta go to the 2D to get to our pushback. It's not what I wanted. I cut the TCAS thing. Alright, seatbelts, auto, no smoking, auto brakes, RTO. Our pushback, we're going... I can't remember if it's nose. Let's go straight back because I cannot remember for the life of me if it's nose left or tail left. Let's go 125 just as a shot in the dark, as a guess.
And ground cockpit. Right, Captain. We're all set to go.
Alright, so as we're doing this, let's move this to 36,000. Alright, release the parking brake.
Okay.
Now you're just on to 36,000. Wish you could use... I don't know why, but I can't use the middle mouse... the mouse wheel... with this plane. I don't know why. 36,000. Let's move this to 250. Alright, heading 080. I don't know the exact heading, but that should be close enough. Alright, radio for the minimums. There it was. There we go. Flight director on. Arm the auto throttles. LNAV and VNAV are armed. Unable next altitude. Not really worried about that, to be quite honest. 5,000, that's alright if it can't get there. Well, it's got 15 miles to get there. Lower that down, so it's not in our way. Reset our altimeter. If I can remember, we gotta turn off the APU when we get to the runways. I could probably turn it off right now, really. Is all four running?
Push is complete. Set parking brake, please.
Parking brake set. Turn our TCAS.
And pressure's normal.
That was the wrong button.
Okay, sir.
There we go.
Pin is out. Watch the pin on the right. Alright, guys. Thanks. You're cleared to disconnect. We will...
Sorry I cut him off, but there we go, above. I don't know if we can set that from down here. Yeah, you can. I wasn't sure. Alright. That parking brake off. Come on. Taxi light on. And let's taxi. And we're out to the left. As we get going, I'll start tell you what happened. Come on, plane. Here's our DHL plane. The silver and gray wings, I'm not sure if that's correct or not. Alright. So I was just flying this a second ago, and I don't know what... had all kinds of crazy stuff happen. Couldn't... The runway wasn't on here. Somehow the runway got deleted when I was setting it up. Finally got that, because I was having a heck of a time trying to find the runway. And we took off, and for some reason I would set the autopilot and it would automatically disconnect. I don't know if that was my fault or what. So hopefully it works this time. I was having all kinds of trouble setting it up, although I haven't flown it in a while. So, and by the way, we just released this plane. I was going to try and fly the Lufthansa, and I forgot. If you remember, I did right before we did the 777. I flew like an Asian flight, I called it, with the 747, and I had a problem then. I'm not sure if it was when I did the 777 and started doing live or something, but it screwed something up. So any of those planes that we already have in air hauler, this like the 747s and stuff, I can't fly. Like, it says it cannot initialize the plane. I think something's screwed up in the config file or something. And I don't want to buy a new plane. We had enough money to lease this one. So we should be okay. Is there really like someone to the left of us? Yeah, there is. Alright. So, it's kind of hectic trying to get this thing going. But the autopilot wouldn't work, and then because I was messing with the autopilot, I wasn't paying attention and we got too fast. Our flaps were still partially down, so it screwed up the flaps. Just had a little bit of an adventure trying to get this thing going again. Texting a little fast, but I need to get this flight in. I was actually going to do the 777 from San Fran to Honolulu. I was going to do that yesterday because I had enough time, and I got home, laid down just for a minute. I can't even remember what I was going to do something, and I just fell asleep. And I woke up and there wasn't enough time. And I actually tried that flight the first time, Super Bowl Sunday, Honolulu, San Fran to Honolulu. Got about 2/3 or 3/4 of the way there, and the computer blue screened on me. I believe I had my voltages set too low. And this view on the 747, like, it really shifts left and right. Kind of odd. Although when you're going this fast, it probably does shift you around real good. Yeah, so I said, you know, I want to get a flight in. There's a 777 flight that we're going to do tomorrow. It's like San Fran to, I think, Goodyear. It's like a 500-mile flight, so it'll be a good short one. And then after that, I'll try and work on the 757 finally. We gotta do air hauler. We're doing air hauler. I need to get around the world going again. Got a bunch of stuff. Hopefully I can get some stuff going this weekend. Set the flaps now to 20. Sounds like there's somebody right by us. Somebody taking off in the wrong direction, as always. Is that DC-9? I couldn't tell. Yeah, but we took off, and we used almost the whole freaking runway. Like, I could not get the nose up. Took forever to get the nose up. So I'm kind of worried about the derated takeoff, especially it was at 20%. But we were using 10 flaps. That's why I increased them to 20. I don't know if that's too much or what, but I don't know. I was having such a problem getting that nose up. It's a long runway. Not sure why. Not sure what the problem was. Alright. We have finally arrived. On over here. It's kind of a confusing airport. I could have had a Velasoft open, could have done that. Okay, I'm gonna turn right here. I'm not gonna go to the left with that one. I want with the whole runway. Alright. Try not to be too touchy on the brakes. Alright, everybody. Here we are. Edited. I'm gonna have to edit this in. I just gave it like another try, and everything was all screwed up. Strobe is on. Text lights are off. Lane lights are on. Let's move on to the runway. I thought maybe it was the IRSs weren't aligned. I thought all this stuff, and as it turns out, my joystick was completely out of whack. It was not calibrated correctly. So it thought I was moving the joystick when I wasn't. It was all out of whack. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes you just plug it in and it's perfect, and every once in a while it's all out of whack. I don't know why it does that. But we should be good to go now. Autopilot should work. This has been, I thought like this, I could get this started up and going quick, and it has just been anything but. Alright. Here we are. Not even lined up. There we go. I want to check one thing. Check my V-speeds real quick. Alright, they're all in. Alright, now we should be good to go. So I'm not lined up. Alright. I'm going to hold the brake. Just to make sure we got enough runway. Here we go. Alright. Set the thrust. Here we go. Finally off to Tahiti after about 2.5 hours of not being able to get this thing set up right. Come on, speed. The end of the runway is near. Now she's acting right. That's why I couldn't get the nose up. Positive rate gear up. Let's check the autopilot. And it works, what do you know? Let's go outside and take a look around. Actually, let's check our flaps. Alright, flaps are just fine. Come on, we're not going down. There we go. It would look better if we were up a little higher. Alright, there's flaps 20. Alright, flaps to 10. Turn the gear off. Alright. So flaps to 5. Now let's see if we can see anything better. Yeah, now we're not over the city though. Bye bye, Hillway. See, that's the cool runway. I kept wanting to come in on that runway, but there's no ILS or anything on that. It's like they don't use it or something. I'm not sure. I thought that looked really cool to fly though. Flaps to 1. Move our range up. Okay, so was that 80? Yeah, alright, 160 there. Oh, it's not shaking like I thought it would. Those camera effects. Alright, flaps up. I'll tell you what, everything is looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and speed it up. And I will be back in just a bit. We're closer to Tahiti. Alright, everybody. We're about 8,000 feet now. Got a little late on that. Alright, the landing lights are now on. Auto brakes are at 2. And it got dark on us. Alright, so let's check our... Well, actually, just really quickly. Bring this, and it looks like we got a little weird loop. That's the way we come in. $240 for a little while, then we dropped to $220. That should be just enough. See, we're set at 154. It came down like 18 knots. Now it's down to 152. I just hate that it's up so high for so long. Get those camera effects off real quick. I'm going to turn the heading real quick to 40. Oh, that wasn't... I hope that isn't following me. Maybe that's the... actually the path that... Dang. The missed approach. Is that Ovini? Alright, so it is Ovini. Wow, we are really close to the runway, actually, so I'm going to go ahead and kill the auto throttles. So was it 152 is our landing speed? I can bring this up. Well, let me bring it up. Yeah, look at that. Like, we're only like 14 nautical miles away. See, it wants thrust, and it's like the runway, we're so close. 4,000 feet. Wait, I don't know why we can't bring the FMC up. Let's see if we drop the gear. So we definitely need some help getting our speed down. Get the speed brake out. First notch of flaps. Just arm the spoilers. And the speed back up. I can barely hear the engines. Let's get our flaps out as well. I can hardly hear the engines. Flaps to 15. Alright, so we're 9 miles out. So we can hit the localizer. What is this Pan B? Alright, so I guess now the spoilers are armed. Watch our speed. Flaps to 20. Oh my goodness. We look high as can be.
2,500.
Alright, I'm gonna put the flaps to full. Alright, now it's bringing us onto the path. Let the speed drop on its own a little bit. Alright, here comes the speed down. Increase the throttle. Bring it back just a little bit. Of course, I will try to land it myself. Just speed back just a little bit, not too much. Alright. It's all mine. Looks like we need to come up just a little bit, just a hair. Our speed's dropping. Although we are well away from the stall speed. Looks like we're off to the left just a little bit. Okay, now we're too high.
500.
We've got too far to the right.
400.
Come back over.
300.
We're still off to the right.
200. 100. Approaching minimums. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
A little long. We got too high again and everything. Oh, we came down kind of hard. Oof. Because we ended up floating so long it lost too much freaking speed. We got lucky on that one. And you can't hear the voices. I don't know why that keeps changing itself. Come on. Get this off our screen. The middle. Of course, it's behind us. Alright, let's get rid of these flats. Man, we're right on the ocean, aren't we? That's awesome. Yeah, we, when it got to 30, I started to pitch up, and I guess we were just still a little quick. Which is kind of weird. So it caused us to float and lose speed. I hope there's a turnaround over here. There's almost got to be. If you can take off over here. I don't see anything. Looks like it just drops off into the ocean. Well, no, still not one. I thought there was one to the right. Well, there is. Yeah, alright, there is. Alright. I was going to say, man. I can't tell if there's a taxi. I didn't see any taxi, but now it kind of looks like there might be one. Alright, turn around. I don't think there's a taxi. I think it's just the runway. Not sure if we got in the grass or not. Yeah, we gotta go all the way down this freaking runway. We just missed the turnoff. We needed to land just a little earlier. like I say, yeah, we floated and just lost our speed. But it didn't, nothing broke. That's always a plus. Yeah, check something up here real quick. Turn on our APU. Nothing breaking is always a good thing. So turn off the flight director. I guess we can taxi kind of quickly down the runway. I guess we kind of want you to. You gotta get off the runway as quickly as you can. Well, I'm not. This just can't be a very busy airport. It's a really small island. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I always hear about it. Well, not a lot, but you know, people go vacation there and everything. But I had no idea where it is. It's really just out in the middle of nowhere. All right. APU's running. I don't know why it still says autopilot disconnect. Obviously, we disconnected it. Oh, cut a little quick. Turns a little better, sharper, it seems like, than the 777 does. Although I didn't quite go out far enough there either on that line. Stop right here. Turn our strobe off. Landing lights off and taxi light on. Continue on. Doesn't look like there's any gates or anything. Kinda figured they would accept some pretty big planes. Of course, you don't need a gate for that, but I thought there would be. Got a little slow here on the turn, kind of screwed things up. It's a little better. Alright. Set our parking brake. Turn our taxi light off. There we go. Alright, APU's running. We can go ahead and cut the fuel. Shut off the engines. Can't see anything. There we go. Alright, so let's run on the APU. Turn off the lights. Alright, let's go ahead and move on over to air hauler. We'll get paid. Alright, as you can see, nothing was hurt. So let's unload this. Kind of interested to see how much fuel we used. We actually had a lot more. Didn't use as much as I thought we would. Tahiti. Alright. Check out the finances real quick. Yeah, I kicked up that overhead a lot because we just leased that plane. We'll get that paid off pretty soon. Let's see, Touchdown speed 132, 231. It's not too bad. All in all. Takeoff fuel, touchdown fuel. I wish it would automatically tell you like how much you used. Takeoff fuel. That's not, wait. Yeah, 298. 366 minus 140913. So we used 157,000 pounds. I was looking on the internet at the weight, and it seems to vary. Some people say like as low as 6, some get it up near 7. I'm going to say 6.71. So we used 23,465 gallons. Got to find out the fuel. It doesn't really tell you the fuel. Wish it would. Yeah, there's no real way to find out the fuel. But let's say it's 5 gallons or $5 a gallon. We used 117,000, so around about. What was it, 117,000? I've already forgotten. So we still made over 500,000. I mean, that's pretty daggone good. Pretty daggone good. The problem is, we're down on frickin' Tahiti. Now, somebody else is going to have to get this. That's Samoa. Someone else is going to have to get this. I'm not going to fly from Tahiti. And there's, well, I would, but there's not going to be any jobs there. It might take a job generation a couple times to... I have to find that this way. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's because we bought a new plane. There's going to be tons of jobs. That's way too much weight, though. 1.2 million. That's a lot of money. I just screwed that up. There we go. Honolulu to Cold Bay. We can get somebody on that because he's already there. 2 flights will get that done. And then it comes, then we've got this. Oh, we've already got an MD-11. We can probably get that in 2. Yeah, we're gonna, well, that sucks. That's only 4 hours. That's only 13 hours. Well, we don't need that one. All these good paying ones. We've got a 777 there. We could do that flight and then come back to like Palm Springs. Do we have a... Oh, we might have scenery for that as well. So that changes what I was going to do. Awesome. Alright, well, I'll figure out something, definitely. Yeah, he's going to have to come get this plane. I'm obviously not going to fly that back. And it makes no sense to go empty. So we're going to need something to go down there again. And that's still, if we made 500,000 there... Yeah, 117. Yeah, it'll work out. We'll make, what, 700,000 or so? Actually more. Well, no, maybe. I don't know. Around 700,000, 800,000, something like that. Actually more. 1.2 minus... Yeah, about 700,000. I was right. Roundabout. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for this episode. Hope you all enjoyed it, man. It's a really long one for me. Especially setting it up and failing a couple times because that joystick wasn't calibrated. But that's it for this episode. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next flight.